Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 10 of the Professionally Informed Sportscast. I'm here, Swag Banana, with Slash and Gash.
Yo.
Chris.
Hello.
Breezy.
And Ant the God.
Here.
Who's joining us in spirit today. He's not here. He's just a speaker in a seat, but he's still with us.
Yeah, here.
That's great there.
Had to use a Ouija board to contact me.
The Ouija board to contact.
Yeah.
We're just receiving one letter at a time. We're just very good audio manipulation. How are we doing today, gentlemen?
Doing all right.
I'm doing super.
Doing super.
Except for Ant not being here. I miss him. I feel like there's just a big hole in the room.
Big empty chair.
Yeah, you know, tough.
There is a big empty chair. I had to put a blanket on that chair because there was particles coming off of the chair every time I sat up. And
Even the chair was falling apart without Ant? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, even the
so
chair
it
is
sounds
falling
like-
apart without Ant. Yes.
Yeah, the chair misses me. You know, great memories with the chair.
Actually, Chris is in your spot today, so you're in Chris's spot. So
The chair.
the chair. Yes. Anyways, let's get into the news today. Unfortunately, we bring some sad news at the beginning of the cast. Bill Russell died at what age?
88.
88.
Yup.
As we know, he was a great NBA player in the 70s and 60s. Won 11 rings with the Celtics. Didn't he have a little stint coaching career,
Yeah,
too?
Yes, he is actually one of his most proudest accomplishments. He was the first African-American head coach of a pro sports team ever. So before Frank Robinson in baseball and any other sport, he was the first black head coach. He was player coach and then became just the head coach and won a title as coach as well.
So I knew he won one. I knew he won one or two as a coach.
Yeah, but his legacy is one of the better ones in the NBA, and he will
Best. Probably the best.
probably the best.
He was also a civil rights activist and good friend of NFL Hall of Famer Jim Brown. They would travel the country and go to impoverished neighborhoods and try to spread goodwill and racial equality. So, great man on and off the court, and will be missed.
For sure.
Most definitely.
Rest in peace, Bill Russell.
Rip.
But going into the rest of the NBA today, there's some drama with Draymond Green.
What? Draymond Green and drama?
No way.
Come on.
Never.
Never that.
No way. He wants a max contract with the Warriors. Basically the question that we're entitled to answer today is, does he deserve the max contract with the Warriors or with any other team in the NBA?
What do you mean? He gives you an efficient 3 points, 7 fouls.
7
no.
fouls.
A foul out
Fuck
of game.
no.
Yeah, I'm basically in the same camp. Maybe he might get it with the Warriors. Like, I don't see him getting it with another team because all he does wherever he goes, there's a spotlight on him, and it's not really a good spotlight either.
There is one distinction, however, in whether or not he plays for the Warriors or another team. What he is up for with Golden State is a max extension.
Yeah.
If he were to go to another team and get a max contract, that would mean many more millions of dollars. So another team would have to pay him a lot more than Golden State would, who would just be giving him an extension on his current contract. So if anybody signs him to any kind of money, I would think it would be Golden State. But anymore, I feel like he's more just a mascot than a productive ball player.
Oh my God, yeah. I think they'll come to an agreement on a contract. I definitely don't think it's going to be that contract, though.
No, for sure. But we don't know with him right now. He's not the same player that he was in 2017 or even 2018.
Yeah, he's trash.
He's just straight trash.
No, his offense has just fallen completely off when he really didn't have that great a skill set in the first place. I mean, when he was just starting to play stretch 5 and he was hitting threes every now and then, he was only shooting 20-some%. It wasn't like he was a relied on outside shooter. And now he barely has a mid-range game. He just flops and flails and tries to instigate people. I mean, he's compared to Dennis Rodman, but when he was doing his act in the NBA, he was getting 20 boards a game and locking down the other team's best offensive player. And I don't see half of that from Draymond Green.
Drummond.
But the only reason why I think he might stay is because the Warriors are known to keep their, I want to say, click together. They're known to like pay the luxury tax that they have to do to keep their championship winning team together. That's why Jordan Poole could get a max contract. That's why Andrew Wiggins could get a max contract as well for staying with Golden State. And what do you think?
Don't give Draymond any more money than he already has.
Yeah, he's already making like $27 million. Like,
So he's
to
set.
give you like 3 points, 5 rebounds,
he's got
and
the
a foul out of
He's
night.
got the podcast.
He
thing
does have
going
the
on.
second most popular podcast in the nation.
Oh.
Behind the professionally informed sportscast, of course.
Damn straight.
Of course. But Draymond probably doesn't deserve the money. Going to get the money.
Only problem is if they do sign him, they are going to have to cut some players from the roster. And is it going to be Looney? Is it going to be well, they already lost Peyton Jr. They'll keep Wiggins for sure, but some of their ancillary parts on the bench will probably have to go just for money purposes, I would think.
Zero bench.
We'll see.
That was one of their strong suits. They had a pretty good bench, if I remember correctly.
Oh, they had probably the best bench in the league.
Of course, because their core, that clique they're keeping together, are aging rapidly, and they needed those young sparks off the bench. But if you're giving all the old fat cats all the money, then you got to get a bunch of little scrappers in there to fill the rest of your roster spots. And I don't know, maybe that bench isn't so hot if they give Draymond all that money.
Yeah. Who was it that Jordan Poole filled in for in the playoffs? Who was hurt during the playoffs for Golden State?
I don't think anybody was. I thought they were
Really?
pretty healthy.
I thought somebody was hurt during
Well,
the process.
Peyton Jr. was. He didn't get back into the lineup
Peyton got
until the finals. He missed like 2 rounds.
I'm saying Clay was healthy the whole time, so...
What's left of Clay?
Yeah.
His inability to move left and right.
Well, that's what 2 torn ACLs in 2 years does for you, basically.
Oh, I agree, and I love watching him, and he's got a great shot, but it's just sad to see what's left of him.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of big men, I was going to say very, very big men. Zion Williamson has we already knew that he got his max rookie contract earlier this offseason, but there's a clause that states he will not get all of the $230 million if he does not meet a certain weight limit. He has to stay under 295. Do we think that's fair?
Yeah.
Fair? I'm sorry, Ant. After you, please.
I would hope he would stay under 295. If he was anywhere above that, he'd be a short Shaq.
I was going to say practically the same thing, Ant. The guy is 6'5". If he gets heavier than 295, he'll be as wide as he is tall. 295, it's almost like they gave him the easiest weight clause to fulfill. It's not like they're asking him to get to something reasonable, like, 245. Yeah. I mean, they're like, hey, just don't get so fat that you can't tie your own shoes. That's pretty much what that weight clause says. So if he's over 295, then he does not care about basketball or extending his career or staying healthy. Probably shouldn't have given him all that money with the shoe contract up front and now this max contract. But they're already in bed with him now. They just hope there's a little room left in the bed.
Yeah, some people were saying that maybe 295 is too big of a weight limit. They should cut it down like to 275 or 265, something like that, because for someone who's the same size as LeBron James, like, he shouldn't even weigh that much.
Well, that's why I think it was a just a dumb weight limit to set. It was something that they knew he could attain. They knew they weren't going to upset him too bad if they said, look, come on, can you... Oh God, I don't want to say 300. Okay, can you just keep it under 295?
You know, we're gonna be nice. We're not gonna be too extreme. 295.
Right.
Not 3, not 250.
You know,
Can you keep it down to 3 boxes of Little Debbie cakes a day?
you know, and if you keep up a good streak for 3 weeks, we'll throw you in a donut or 2, maybe.
Sure.
Who knows? But yeah, that's the news. Which brings us into a new segment into this show. We don't talk about baseball, but we have a baseball fan within our premises right now, Chris. We're giving you 1 minute. 60
1
seconds.
minute? 1 minute
seconds.
starting now?
Not starting now. No, not starting now. No, don't start it.
All right,
I'll
let's
let
give
you
it-
know when to start the
Okay.
So much pressure.
It's so much. You have 1 minute to talk about all the news in baseball. All of it. Starting now.
Okay, well, I'll tie it into basketball. It seems like the San Diego Padres have bought every good player in Major League Baseball, so now they're going to trade 3 draft picks for Kevin Durant because they bought everybody else. And that's great because that's the exact opposite of what our local Baltimore Orioles are doing. They finally have the first decent team in 10 years. They have Trey Mancini, who just came back from stage 3 colon cancer, and he's hitting the crap out of the baseball. And so they trade him and their all-star closer away just when the team's getting good. So it's
20 seconds.
oh no, I got it. I got my eye on it. But no, I would say there's the haves and the have-nots. But in baseball, they all have money. Some just don't spend it. Orioles, shame on you. If I were an Oriole fan, I would burn my hat, jersey, and everything else and just go watch soccer.
Oh shit, he cut it in under a minute. Good shit. Good shit. That's what we like to see. Did you know anything what he's talking about?
I saw that what's his face is Juan Soto. Didn't he get traded? Is that his name?
I think the baseball minute has just been extended. Yes, Juan Soto just got a huge contract and was traded from the Nationals to the aforementioned San Diego Padres, who already have Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., and a host of other young, high-paid ball players.
Okay. We got the
Chad
minute.
has had enough of baseball. Moving on.
The only thing I'm surprised about, he didn't mention anything about the Red Sox sitting their ass beat. We're going into the NFL. There's one very big
One
news.
menace himself.
There's one menace himself that is currently at large doing the deed.
You said at large.
Deshaun Watson.
I don't know. There might be another menace, who brewed up. Marquise Brown,
Oh, that menace. We're not going to
Henry
get
Ruggs
it.
too.
Well,
Oh,
hold
Speed
up.
Racer?
Oh, hold up.
Yeah,
We'll-
Speed
we'll-
Racer.
We'll get into him later. Deshaun Watson officially got his sentence. 6 games by the judge, Sue Robinson. How do we feel about that?
They're gonna appeal. He's gonna suspend it the whole
Well,
season.
yes, they have already. Well, we were going to get into that, but the NFL has appealed his sentence.
How much
saying
did Hopkins get suspended for? 8 games?
6 games.
6 games.
So pretty much.
Henry Ruggs, betting against the Jaguars got suspended a whole season.
That was
Just saying.
Ridley.
That
Henry
was
Ruggs
Calvin
killed
Ridley.
somebody.
Or
And their
not Henry
dog.
Ruggs, Calvin Ridley.
Did Henry Ruggs even get suspended?
He's on the what are they,
Exempt.
commissioners.
Yeah, he can't
Yeah.
Exempt list.
Yeah, I think the difference in the Deshaun Watson decision and all the other suspensions, be it Deflategate or Roethlisberger or Ezekiel Elliott, all of those suspensions were handed down by Roger Goodell and the NFL. This time, they went and got an independent judge who acted outside of the NFL's auspices. However, in her final statement, she says that she used precedents set by the NFL in previous cases to influence her decision. Well, then what's the point of having an independent judge if she's just going to go back on, what the NFL had done in the past and rule accordingly? Right. And now the NFL can appeal it anyway and add more to it. So was it not just a waste of time?
Well, the NFL is going to appeal it, and now they're going to actually take it to a federal court, it looks like. Because it's not going to federal court right away. It's going to like a local court, and then you know how the system works. It goes to like state, and then it's going to go to a federal court. So most likely, if this appeal holds up, he's going to be playing at the beginning of the season. So, yes.
Menace energy.
I feel horrible for Jacoby Brissett. Because with every day, it's like, 6 games? Cool. Okay, yeah, I can prove myself in 6 games and then get traded to another team once Deshaun gets here. Somebody has an injury
what
quarterback.
What are you talking about? I'm talking, what about Josh Rosen?
Jacoby
He had a
Brissett
chance.
Is king.
What about Josh Rosen, though?
I like Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen's just happy to have a job.
Literally.
He did not have a job 2 weeks ago.
His Twitter still doesn't know what team he plays for.
His Twitter says he's a quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. So his picture is when he got drafted by the Arizona Cardinals, and his banner is him doing a press conference for the Miami Dolphins. So
covered all his bases.
Yep, he's
quarterback
like
for the NFL, for sure.
At this point,
but Deshaun Watson is going to keep on escalating. At this point, he's most likely going to play the beginning of the season, and he's most likely the suspension, I believe, is going to take effect the following season, it looks like.
Do his own home Cleveland fans boo him when he goes out onto the field? Or do they support him? I mean, what if he does great? Are they all going to get behind him?
If he does great, they're going to get behind him. Because, again, they've been, except for like the past maybe 2 seasons, they were suffering. Like, they had the 0-16 season. They had,
a 1-15 season the year prior to that, I believe.
They had, 20 quarterbacks in the span of 15 years or something like that.
That's how awful Hugh Jackson as a coach was.
After the 0-16 season, they kept him.
They kept his ass.
Well, that's because, according to him, they were paying him to lose.
Yeah.
Which he claims he didn't take any money, but he damn sure lost those ball games.
Yeah,
so
he lost.
I think they owe that man a check.
I'm like, so you lost for free is what you're telling us.
Yes. But anyway, speaking of suspensions, Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, is suspended for the entire year. And the Miami Dolphins have been stripped of their first-round pick next year and their third-round pick the following year, all for just talking to Tom Brady and Sean Payton, seeing if they want to come to his team. Just basically tampering laws.
Yeah, you can't do it.
I thought Tom Brady was trying to buy the Dolphins.
Yeah, what happened to that?
Basically the thing was Stephen Ross was offering him a stake in the Dolphins.
To come play quarterback?
To come play quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
Now, Zion Williamson would take that. He just heard he gets a steak, so that's cool. He would definitely take that deal.
He gets a big, fat, juicy steak.
Yeah.
But
so essentially, you said, you come play for my team, you can have a part of the team.
Right. And apparently he offered a first-round pick for Sean Payton. That was news to me. I did not know that either.
Didn't John Gruden get traded for a first-round pick?
Sure, but that didn't work out either. I don't know. I think the whole thing is foolish. What is tampering? I mean, you went and had a conversation with the guy. I mean,
the whole thing is he wanted to talk to him while he was under contract for the Buccaneers, trying to convince him to come play for them.
No, he was under contract with New England. It was 2019.
Oh, it was 2019.
I was going to say, because who knows when he's actually on the Buccaneers or not. He's retired. He's not retired. He's taking a break. He's waiting to hear from Gronk. Oh, no, he's playing again. So I could see if it happened during that time, you would have a loophole in court. But if it was when he was contemplating leaving New England, then all right, so they tampered with him.
Ant, notorious New England fan, what do you think about this?
I'm happy. I'm feeling great. It finally happened to somebody else.
Finally happened to somebody else.
So let's go.
Yeah,
Get ours back.
You know, Ant's been through a lot, you know, Deflategate, what was the other gate? Spygate. You know, suspension, and then still won 6 Super Bowls in the process. So he's been through a
Bill
lot.
Belichick's playing chess, not checkers. He knew he was texting Brian Flores.
He wasn't texting Brian Dable. He was texting Brian Flores.
He knew. He didn't.
Is Mac Jones the top 5 quarterback in the league?
Fuck no.
Ant.
What?
Is Mac Jones the top 5 quarterback in the league?
Of course he is. In
Literally last podcast.
I've thought about that all week. I cannot believe just because he's a New England Patriot fan, he had to waste his 5th pick, or his number 5 pick in the top 5 on Mac Jones. I mean, that'd be like me as a Raider fan picking Derek Carr in the same spot. Oh, that's right, I did. Sorry, Ant, my bad. Yeah, Mac Jones is okay. He doesn't have anybody to throw to, so good luck with that.
I mean, Devontae Parker's okay.
Myers.
He got the bootleg Devontae. Derek Carr has the Devontae.
I mean, true, but like he's not trash either. I mean, whenever he's healthy, he's pretty good.
Oh, I think he's an excellent person and a good athlete. But
he's a good person. He donates to charity a lot.
He has offensive coordinator by committee right now. One of his, quote, coordinators is Matt Patricia, who I know he's a rocket scientist or something, but he's a defensive coach.
Well, what'd you say, Ant?
I said, we won a Super Bowl with him at defensive coordinator.
Yeah, you did. Barely. But
right, now he's running the offense?
That's a great question.
That's asking Ray Lewis to play quarterback. Like, oh, he was good on defense. Let's see what we can even do on the other side. Well, no. Matt Patricia was one of those defensive coaches coaching for Bill Belichick, a defensive coach. So he was a glorified lackey that got a job and then was exposed for not being all that good as a head coach. I think we've seen this before with former Patriot defensive coaches turned head coach.
Hey, and offensive coaches. Josh McDaniels sucked as Denver's coach.
Oh, no, Josh McDaniels is a great coach now. See, he's now...
now he is.
Now that he's in Las Vegas.
Now he's with the Raiders. He's a great coach.
Always did like that guy.
He's doing great. He's going to take Las Vegas to the Super Bowl.
Said, honestly, anything's better than John Gruden at this point.
Agreed. Yes, I don't think we'll get any argument with that.
I mean, you had a special teams coordinator take you to the playoffs, so then that was pretty good shit. So, I don't know. Anyways, are we done talking about Mr. Stephen Ross and Deshaun Watson
and Mac Jones? Sure.
Mac Jones is going to get brought up at least one more time.
Funny, I didn't even put him in my top 5 last week.
He didn't?
No, it was
no.
Burrow.
Burrow was his number 5.
Oh, I thought he had him at number 5.
So you were the only one who had your top 5 quarterback in your team.
My team's quarterback in the top 5? Well, yeah, but my team's quarterback throws to Hunter Renfrow and Devontae Adams. And...
He has not thrown to Devontae Adams yet.
My quarterback will throw
in college.
In college, like 9 years ago, yeah, but we need him.
9 years? There's no way that was 9 years ago.
It feels like it was 9 years ago. What was it, 2013?
Shit.
2013.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's 9 years.
That is 9 years.
That's how long you get in Russian prison for having a couple vape carts in your bag.
And here we go. We weren't going to talk about it, but here we go. Here we go. We're not. Anyways. That threw me the fuck off.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that one.
All right, Chris.
So speaking of...
yeah, you take the next topic.
Speaking of bags, not a carry-on bag, but Debo and DK Metcalf getting the bag. I think the Debo contract was perfect for both sides. It's 3 years. He gets like $24 million up front. He gets $24 million each year on average, and he'll only be like 29, 30 by the time the contract's over with. and hopefully be able to get another contract, and they won't be beholden to him and have some guy with 4 years left on his deal that they've already used up.
Yeah, it works out perfectly for the 49ers. I mean, he's still the number one. He's going to be, I'm assuming they've worked it out to where saying, hey, Debo, you don't have to play running back anymore. You can just play wide receiver. Because that was a big issue.
Well, if they do play him at running back, he gets an extra $2 million on his contract. I know it's not much, but it's something.
Oh, it certainly is. And I think they did the contract perfectly. If he doesn't want to run, that's fine. But if you do, we'll compensate you for doing so. And they had to have him. It's the same thing with Metcalf. What would they have without him? Trey Lance at quarterback in the 49ers case, and Drew Lock or Geno in Seattle.
Like Geno is going to win the job.
Geno is leading the quarterback carousel right now.
Right, so you had to pay Metcalf.
That's Chaz's guy,
Yeah, that's my guy, former New York Jet, 2012. Let's go, baby.
I love that guy.
Led us to an 8-8 season, then a 4-12 season, then we fucking sacked him for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Let's go. But yeah, Geno is leading the quarterback carousel in Seattle. But if he sucks, they're probably going to put in Drew Lock, and I have no idea who their third string is. So
yeah, Jacob Eason maybe.
Jacob Eason, what a fucking.
I know he was
stud.
on that roster at one point.
Yeah,
I know DK wants to stay in Seattle, but I could honestly see him by like the second or third year forcing his way out.
I can see him trading him after this first year if they suck.
They're gonna suck. They're rocking out there with Geno Smith.
I don't know. You could go some. Didn't Geno have a really good game against New England that one time? You could throw out some vintage Geno Smith.
Vintage Geno Smith.
I have a question in regard to the Seahawks quarterback situation. Why, when everybody has all these rumored destinations for Jimmy G, nobody has mentioned Seattle? I've heard him going to the Giants.
Same division, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like they're sending him to the Rams. I mean, Jimmy G on Seattle is still going to stink. They shouldn't be a threat to the 49ers. And at this point, they got to get something for him.
It is Jacob Eason, by the way.
Wow.
So, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, the only reason why I see him not going to Seattle, they don't want to trade interdivision, especially the quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo can win you games. That's the problem.
On occasion.
If he was just a bum, then maybe they would just trade him to Seattle. I don't know.
But he's always had talent around him. Jimmy G played on the Patriots and then the 49ers once they were actually good again. He wasn't playing with the Kaepernick, Alex Smith 49ers. So, I don't know. I mean, you put him on a team like Seattle, who's also another defensive-minded team. But he's got to have a weapon or two, and they just don't have much. I mean, their running game stinks. Their offensive line is not so hot, and he's normally been protected rather well, Jimmy.
Yeah, the 49ers have one of the best offensive lines in the league.
For sure. And like the Seattle Seahawks, they haven't had a good offensive line. This is the first draft they've addressed offensive line in the first round in a minute.
His whole career, their best offensive lineman was Max Unger. They traded him for Jimmy Graham, and that didn't work out.
They got old ass Dwayne Brown.
Yeah,
crippling Dwayne Brown from the Texans. It's like, okay, if we have one good offensive lineman, that's enough, right?
Well, because they were relying on Russell Wilson to run around and make something out of nothing, and then once his mobility started to leave him a little bit, which seemed to coincide with his marriage to Sierra, but I don't know if that means anything. Women kill legs. That's a line from Rocky. His manager tries to get him not to fool around before a fight. Women weaken legs, I think, is the line. But anyway.
Speaking of killing people.
Okay.
Danny Dimes. Daniel Jones. He's having one practice or one training camp for the ages. Recently, throwing a ball to, I don't know who the intended receiver was, but hitting a disabled fan in the face.
I got my Danny Dimes jersey on standby.
So things are not looking too good for the New York Giants right now.
They haven't been looking good for years.
But
Since 2012.
speaking of Jimmy Garoppolo, do we think the Giants are good? Are a good team for Jimmy Garoppolo? Do you think they could trade a package for Jimmy Garoppolo
It's
if
not gonna
Daniel
cost
Jones does not
much,
work out?
So,
Well, I mean, the Giants are probably even worse than the Seahawks. So.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, I mean, they have I feel like they have a genuine good team around.
I mean, they have a solid team.
They got Kenny Galladay when he's healthy. Hopefully he's
Saquon
healthy.
when he's healthy.
When he's healthy, all right.
I think Darius.
A lot of ifs.
I think Darius Slayton and Sterling Sharp are good wide receivers, and
And
they're
then-
They have
Kadarius
Kadarius
Toney.
Toney.
not
when
Sterling
they're not
Sharp,
trying
but
to
Sterling
trade him.
Shepard. Excuse me. But yeah, again, Saquon if he's healthy, it's a lot of ifs. But they
They're out
just
there with Wayne Gallman.
drafted Evan Neal, and they had Andrew Thomas on the other side. So again, it's a lot of ifs for the Giants.
And they have a interesting defense. Like, it's okay. Pretty mid-tier.
They have Adoree Jackson at
And they just
cornerback.
took, what the
Kayvon
fuck's it?
Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau.
So it's a lot of young talent, and a lot of that talent has to develop. So this is gonna be a proving year for the Giants if they're gonna be anything really.
Pretty sure last year was too. And they proved that they still suck.
Who was their coach? Oh, Joe Judge.
Right. Now they're gonna. I think they'll give Jones the full year because he's still under the rookie contract, and if he shows off, great. Then we'll give him a little money, maybe for a few years, and then try it again. Or if he just stinks out loud, they cut their losses, they draft a guy, because that's the trend now. Desperate teams sign older quarterbacks to big contracts, right, Denver? But the teams that are really building, they just say, oh, this isn't working. We're just going to go back to the draft and get Kyler Murray and then go get his former college coach and keep the guys under the rookie contracts until they find out if they're any good and then give them too much money.
Do you have a problem with Russell Wilson, Chris?
I have a problem with the Denver Broncos.
What's your problem with the Denver
They're in the
Broncos?
same division. What do you
Yeah, they
mean?
play in the AFC
that's-
West.
I didn't know if it went beyond
So
that.
obviously,
so-
that's why.
No, I mean, like,
Yeah, I have a problem with the Dolphins, Jets, and Bills.
Right. I mean, if I watch a Chargers Broncos game and somebody says, oh, who are you rooting for on this one? I'm like, an act of
I hope
God.
they tie.
Maybe just a big sinkhole develop in the middle of the field and they both fall into it.
did anyone watch The Dark Knight Rises in here?
Of course. Who
Remember that scene with Bane in the football stadium?
Steelers team, yeah.
He just blew up the entire bottom of the stadium. The entire team fell through the fucking sewer of the city.
Yep,
Good
I remember that.
Good.
Hines Ward
is-
was
is-
one.
Yes, I was going to say good cameo for Hines Ward. He got his Screen Actors Guild
I'm
card
pretty sure
that
it was all
day.
the Steelers, because I know Roethlisberger was in it too.
Roethlisberger. Yeah, because
That's where his career went, right down that hole.
right down the hole
Yeah.
of Gotham City.
They kept Roethlisberger way longer than they should have.
They weren't expecting Bane, honestly. I mean, I got to give the Steelers a little credit there. They were not expecting Bane to wreak havoc on their team.
No,
They
but
never recovered.
But Mike Tomlin needs to get over it, though.
Mike
I
Tomlin
agree.
needs to get over the sinkhole. But yeah, they kept Ben Roethlisberger a long time, longer than probably 3 years or 5 years longer than they should have.
Yeah.
Kind of
But
a parallel to our earlier conversation with Draymond. Like, is he that important as a player, or is he just one of the faces of the team, and that's why you
Yeah.
give him the money and keep him around? They had several chances of getting rid of Roethlisberger when he threatened to retire more times than Brett Favre, and they just kept giving him more money, and he played him like a fiddle.
well, I mean, he was
Yeah.
the same situation as Brett Favre, where like they would draft rookies and he would complain about it, like, and
Or
he was
refused to help him.
yeah, like when was the last quarterback they drafted was fucking Mason Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they just kept him in the fucking sewer for a long-ass time. So, he went out on a high note, though. I mean, like, other than getting his ass beat by the Chiefs in the playoffs, he won his last game at Heinz Field and made the playoffs, so
Yeah.
it was good shit. I
Yup.
mean, another menace to society, but we're not going to talk about that.
You know, the reason they're in the playoffs because the fucking Jaguars. I hate the Jaguars.
But you want to talk about the Jaguars,
No,
Brandon?
I don't want to talk about the Jaguars.
You want to talk about the last game of the season?
No, fuck Carson Wentz, too. He can eat a bag of shit.
Speaking of Carson Wentz and Danny Derps, on our topic list, we have our top 4, or it has to be top 4 because there's only 4 starting quarterbacks for the NFC East. What's our order of ranking how good these players are?
How are we doing it?
Let's start with Ant. Ant!
You want my number 4 quarterback for the East, or
You know what? We're just
we're
gonna knock it out all in one. Just to say your number
Okay,
4.
so,
Why?
Number 4 for me in the East is Daniel Jones.
I will say Dak Prescott. I'm like, nice.
Number 3,
Wait.
Carson Wentz.
Okay. So what makes Carson Wentz better than Danny Derps?
He's had a more
What makes Wentz better than Daniel Jones?
Yes.
Well, Wentz had a good season. Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones.
Hey,
we don't know how that's
Did you
gonna
watch Carson Wentz play last year?
Yes,
He had a
I
better
did. I had
season.
the pleasure of watching one game.
Oh yeah, that was the game.
Have you seen Daniel Jones play? He's so bad that they actually play him during the preseason.
Okay, who's your number 2?
Anyway, number 2 is Jalen Hurts, and then 1 is Dak Prescott, because Dak can actually complete a pass.
Oh.
Just because, like, 10
We
yards
have
over
issues.
the middle.
We have issues
about
in the room. We have issues in the studio. Chris is
Yeah,
shaking his head.
I'm sorry that you're not here to have me stare a hole right through your face, Ant. If you're going to try to tell me that Jalen Hurts is not better right now than Dak Prescott. They have given Dak everything he could ever want. Offensive line, two-headed monster at running back, brought in free agent receivers. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts has nothing to work with and rushes for nearly 800 yards, scoring touchdowns with his arm and his legs, protects the football, does not throw a bunch of crazy interceptions, and is doing it on the cheap, man. Jalen Hurts is clearly the best quarterback in the NFC East. It's not even close, and I think it's a pretty close race between Dak and Carson Wentz because neither one of them impressed me at all.
Sheesh. So we don't even have to get into it with you then, but do you want to give your quick rundown of your top 4?
Well, yeah, sure. Number 1, Jalen Hurts. Number 4, the other 3 bums. I don't like any of them. Dak Prescott has never impressed me, not even in college. Wentz is now on his 3rd team in 3 years and apparently doesn't get along with other guys in the locker room. There were no tears shed when he left the Colts. And I think someone else said Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones.
Didn't Jim Irsay say Carson Wentz was a mistake?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
He said literally, like, I was watching that Pat McAfee, and he was like, Jim Irsay, he's like, some of the stuff he did, just like, oh my god. I was like, dude, we all felt that. You should have traded him mid-season.
Just buried him on the way out. So you don't like Dak Prescott or Danny Derps?
No, I just don't think either one of them have any upside whatsoever. We've seen the best of Dak Prescott. We've seen the best of Carson Wentz. And we've seen Daniel Jones. But there is potential in Jalen Hurts. He has kept his head down all through his career. I'd rather have him than Tua right now. And he was passed over for Tua in college and then just went to Oklahoma, a whole new system, and still showed off and almost won the Heisman. And came to the NFL, was handed a crap team, never complained about it, keeps himself in shape. Apparently does not have a clause in his contract that says we'd really prefer if you study the playbook. I mean, the guy's great, dude.
Well, I know when my top 4 comes around, things are going to get heated. Brandon, what's your top 4?
Daniel Jones at 4.
Okay. Basic.
We got Wentz. Fuck
Wentz?
Wentz. I
Okay,
hate him.
okay. Why do you
Why do I have to explain why I hate
Yes,
Carson Wentz? He
yes.
fucked my season. What do you mean?
Well, no. Why is he better than Daniel Jones? Why is
Because
he
Daniel
better?
Jones is shit.
Okay. No,
He's
I'm
never
just
won more than what? 4 games?
4 games. It was.
Is that right? I didn't know that he got a total of 4. I thought maybe one of those, the backup, did it. But
Yeah, 'cause
Probably.
Jones was hurt during the fucking.
Yeah, Jones is maybe not. He probably hasn't even won 20 games in his career. So,
That's true.
number 2, Dak. I can't stand Dak Prescott. And number 1, Jalen Hurts, strictly off of upside.
Okay.
And I feel like that Eagles team is going to win the division this year.
Okay. Well, let's go to mine. The top 4 then.
Put Wentz at 2.
Sheesh. Number 4 is Carson Wentz.
Respectable. I can respect it.
Number
Fuck that guy.
Number 3, Daniel Jones. Because
He should
I
say 4A
feel
and 4B.
I feel yeah, that's basically my reasoning. It's a very thin line between Daniel Jones and Carson Wentz, but I guess if I had to sink a ship, I guess I would go with Carson Wentz over Daniel Jones.
Okay.
Number 2 is Jalen Hurts. And that leaves number 1 with Dak Prescott. I just
You know
don't.
what? Number 1's Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci.
He is unstoppable at throwing
Legendary.
interceptions.
I just think not Carson Wentz, but Dak Prescott is a better pocket passer than Jalen Hurts. I think he has better poise than Jalen Hurts. I don't think Jalen Hurts is that far off from Dak Prescott now, but like Jalen Hurts has a lot to prove
I think
if he's
this
going to
year
lead
is gonna
them.
prove it.
This is his proving year.
Because they tried to trade him if they were in the Russell Wilson sweepstakes.
which I think would have been a mistake. I would not have.
I think a lot of people were in that boat too.
Again, Jalen Hurts is a very humble guy. He's never asked for anything, and unless he's got one of the big agents, I can see when it comes contract time, him being the kind of guy that's like, no, I don't need the most money because I need you to get me a couple receivers, and he would take middle of the road quarterback money. Yeah, he's a middle of the road quarterback. I'm not trying to say he's great. I'm just saying that the quarterbacks in the NFC East are so bad that Jalen Hurts is the one that's actually worth watching. I just don't know what Dak has left. They've given him everything and he never won. Now he has less. He's got an aging Ezekiel Elliott who's still getting paid. He's losing his receivers left and right. I mean, other than CeeDee Lamb, I don't know who he has to throw to.
That's true. Well, this is his second year, I believe. Right? Last year was his second year, right? Jalen Hurts.
So, yeah.
So he doesn't have one of those 5-year options since he wasn't a first-round pick. So he has 2 years left. This year is his prove-it year. And, I would like to see him prove. I don't like the fucking Cowboys. I don't think anyone in here likes the fucking Cowboys.
Not particularly. I think knowing what you just said about his contract status, I think it's foolish that Dallas didn't try to get a quarterback in one of the earlier rounds this year. You put a guy, a rookie on the bench for 1 year because you got 2 left on Dak. Dak has to look over his shoulder and see that guy all the time. And so then he either does prove it or there's your guy right there.
I get what you're saying, but you could have said that for literally half of the teams this year because, again, all the quote-unquote good quarterbacks fell, except for Kenny Pickett, fell into the 3rd round this year. You can make an argument for half the teams in the league. You can make an argument for the Colts.
I kind of wanted us to draft Malik Willis.
Yeah, you could have
the guy the Falcons took.
You could have even made an argument for the Raiders this year to maybe draft a quarterback in the 3rd or 4th round, depending on how.
I feel like you can make that argument for every year for every team.
Yeah, but especially for this year because all the quote-unquote good quarterbacks fell into the 3rd round.
Well, you could do it for every team except for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because Tommy really does not like a young guy behind him either.
He said Jimmy Garoppolo, get the fuck out.
Well, I mean, he has Kyle Trask behind him now.
Oh, does he? Kyle Trask, okay.
The young stallion Kyle Trask gonna take over Tom. I don't even know if they would have stuck with him or not if Tom Brady for real retired this last season. So I think they were also in the Deshaun Watson
Nah, it
sweepstakes.
would have been Blaine Gabbert.
Blaine Gabbert. Oh boy, let's go.
I have a question that's not on the board. If you recall a few years ago, who's the Hall of Fame, will be Hall of Fame tight end for the Cowboys that retired?
Jason Witten.
Yeah, Jason Witten. Went on Monday Night Football, stunk out loud, or he was on the Sunday games. Either one. He was horrible, and then he unretired and played 1 year with the Raiders and looked about as good as he did in the broadcast booth, and not to be heard from again. Is there a chance at some point during this season, if the Jameis experiment goes wrong in New Orleans, that maybe Drew Brees dusts the old arm off because he's not good
He's talked
with the
about
television?
He's talked about it.
I would love to see it.
I don't think Breeze at this point can throw over 20 yards.
No, not even. I don't even think he can throw past 10 yards accurately.
Like
Granted,
Peyton
he's got
Manning when he
Michael
won a
Thomas
Super
back,
Bowl.
so he can just throw
Basically.
a slant every time.
Yeah, I mean Peyton Manning got a ring like that against
But
Panthers.
what are you talking?
They had the best offense.
What are you
Panthers
talking-
were 15-1 that season. They
Yeah.
had a pretty stout defense as well.
Yeah, but they shit the bed in the Super Bowl. They did not perform well in the Super Bowl whatsoever.
And that was when I stopped being a Cam Newton fan. Right?
That's when Cam Newton stopped being a Cam Newton fan. He was worthless after that because he knew he had a chance of falling on that football. And when the lights were the brightest, he shied away and he just let that ball lay there on the turf and did not sacrifice his body. And he was questioned forever after that.
Yeah, and like the opening game of the following season, he got hit in the head like 3 times, like by Von Miller, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were not being nice to him at all.
No,
so,
they were hitting the shit out of Cam.
So, I mean,
Why is that, do you think? Why all of a sudden, when he does not sacrifice his body for the greater benefit of his team, that the following game, his offensive line lets him get the crap kicked out of him?
true? Or maybe it's because they didn't have a good. Well, they did have a good
Yeah, they
offensive
had a
line.
good line.
They have Andrew Norwell, Daryl Williams, I think,
I
something
don't know if
like
he was
that.
on. Their whole old line was like crazy. They had Ryan Khalil still.
Yeah, we're talking about 2016. So
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is.
Was
I think
crazy.
Jordan Gross was retired
Yeah,
by
say
then.
that. I don't know. He might have still been on the team.
But yeah, they beat the shit out of him that following. He got injured halfway through the season, I think, as well.
Then
But
Panthers just jumped off a cliff.
going to our final topic of the day. Last week we did top 5 skill positions for the offense. This year we're not this year, but this episode we're kind of condensing it down to top 5 defenses in the league. I'm barring you, and I'm pointing at you, Ant. You're not here, but from having the same list like you did last week for running back.
One time.
We're not doing that here. But anyway,
But Ant was in the room then. They were looking at each other's notes.
Yeah, bro. I was like,
and
what's your-
reading right off the screen as well, if I recall.
Yup.
So it should go better this time.
anyways,
Why don't you start it off, Chaz? What do you got in your defensive top 5?
my 5th defense is the Denver Broncos. They have a very stout secondary with Justin Simmons. Bryce Callahan isn't there anymore, but they have Patrick Surtain. They have a nice front 7 with fucking Bradley Chubb. And who was the other? Who they just get? Randy Gregory.
Oh, so you pick.
Randy Gregory. I just
Yeah, what-
figured it out.
Isn't he, did he get hurt? Randy Gregory's name was just in the news for something.
Did
I
he
got
get
arrested again.
It was either an injury or an arrest, but I swear I just heard something about Randy Gregory.
Well, my fifth overall was the Denver Broncos. We're gonna go in opposite of rotation. Brandon, who is your 5th overall defense?
The Baltimore Ravens.
Sheesh. Why is that?
Like when they're healthy, they have one of the best front 7s. At least like a solid one. They're like, and then their secondary. I'm a Marcus Peters fan, so man radiates black Air Force energy.
Do you know what that is, Chris?
I'm not touching it. I don't even know what that is. It sounds like something I can
He's a
Google.
menace to
Yeah,
society.
he's a menace.
What is Black Air Force energy?
Brandon,
You're a menace to society.
Brandon, please.
Just because he's
explain.
black?
No. So like, you don't want, if you see someone wearing black Air Forces, then
Oh, we're
they're
talking
scared.
shoes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Got that energy. Oh, okay. I see. Well, just based on his choice of footwear, yeah, they belong in the top 5, sure.
So why else do you like the Ravens at number 5, Brandon?
They just signed what's his face, Marcus Williams too from the Saints, and Marlon Humphrey. I know he had an off year last year, but I think he's gonna re-step it up again.
He's a top.
Pretty sure Marlon Humphrey got hurt last year.
Like their whole team got hurt last year,
Yeah, they had the worst injury luck last year of any
so I think
team.
everyone's gonna come back healthy.
Who's your 5th overall defense?
I would like to say the Dolphins. And I think they're going to have to be good this year. They've got some nice corners and safeties.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they're going to be up front. That's a concern. Linebackers, they're always pretty decent. But I think in order for them to be any good at all, they're going to need a good defense because their offense is not going to be one that's on the field for extended drives. And they're young. Many of their core guys are young. And that's going to be good because they're going to spend a lot of time on the field. But I was just looking between the AFC and the NFC teams. I know you said Denver. You also know I'm going to have reasons for not choosing them, Kansas City or San Diego in the top 5. Not that any of those 3 deserve it. Some people say San Diego now because they got Khalil Mack, but what did he do for the last 2 teams he was on? Nobody won with Khalil Mack. But anywho, the Broncos...
Even when he was on the Raiders, he didn't win.
He was great on the Raiders,
Yeah.
but then
he put up some personal statistics, but we didn't win anything.
I mean, y'all were winning that one season until Derek Carr got hurt, and then you had to bring in Connor Cook.
Right.
remember that guy, the Michigan State dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
We love some Connor Cook here. And who's your 5th overall?
Okay, I had a really tough time choosing because I could have really put a lot of different teams there. But I chose the Colts because they have one of the best linebackers in the league, one of the best interior defensive linemen. They just got a corner opposite of Kenny Moore with Gilmore, and their safeties don't have to play like great because they got good D-line and good corners to help them out.
Good young safeties, if I do say so.
Who are your safeties?
Julian Blackman, and we just took the dude from Nick Cross, the dude from Maryland.
Nick Cross, okay. I do not know who Nick Cross is, but
You're gonna this year.
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure when Matty Ice shits the bed at week 2, for sure.
Also, the Colts just hired Gus Bradley as their defensive coordinator. I guess I can add that in too.
Yep.
I'm not that concerned about Gus Bradley.
He was a great defensive coordinator. Not a good coach, but a good coordinator.
Okay. Well, my 4th overall, as just mentioned by Chris, not the San Diego Chargers, but the Los Angeles Chargers. They just added, as you said, Khalil Mack to the bunch alongside with Joey Bosa. Who's their inner defensive lineman? Fuck. Is it Ricky? Not
Tillery? You talking about Tillery?
No, he's gone.
Sebastian
Joseph's
Yeah,
day.
they just got the dude from the Rams, right?
Yeah, Sebastian Joseph's day. They just got J.C. Jackson.
Mid.
Who's their?
Mid.
Yeah, who's across from? Is that
Asante
make sense?
Samuel Jr. Still got him.
Asante Samuel.
He's
Second
safety.
year.
No, he's a corner.
He's a
Their
corner.
safeties are Nasir Adderley and Derwin James.
Oh, I thought Asante Samuel was safety. My bad. But that's my number 4 overall.
The Los Angeles Chargers allowed 138.9 rushing yards a game last year, including 7 games of 170-plus rushing yards.
Well, that's going to continue. I can tell you that much.
Right, because Khalil Mack's just going to chase the quarterback.
7 defensive backs.
Oh, they're great. They've got great corners and safeties. They're just thin up front, and Khalil Mack is a pass rusher. He is not a run stopper.
Listen, they got new pieces.
That's why they got Joseph
I
Day,
believe
though.
they can improve. Like, that's where I'm going in. We're not going based off last year. We're going into next year. Brandon, who's your number 4?
The New Orleans Saints. I feel like they always have a very good defense. They just added Tyrann Mathieu. Their secondary is already good because Marshawn Lattimore, very disrespected because he's stupid good. Cam Jordan has been good like his whole career.
He does get cooked by Mike Evans every game, though.
Shut up!
Every game
We're not
gets
talking
cooked.
about the Buccaneers. Aren't they undefeated against the Bucs?
Are they?
Yep.
They've beaten Tom Brady every single time.
Well, the Saints, yeah, they beat Tom Brady every single time.
And Demario Davis
In
is
season.
another underrated dude that they have on that team.
That's my guy, Demario. I like Demario.
I know you do.
I like Demario Davis.
I have no argument with the Saints pick because they were the best run-stopping defense in the NFL last year, and just mentioned, Lattimore and the highest-rated safety in Madden, Tyrann Mathieu.
Hey, yo.
So, I think they're good. They got a bunch of no-name linebackers that play hard, and that's another team that's going to have to play good defense because their offense is going to be doo-doo.
Who's your number 4, Chris?
Well, I wanted to say the Saints, but now I've talked myself into making them my third highest because the aforementioned Eagles, who I was propping up so high in our quarterback conversation, they have got a scrappy defense. And you want to talk about corners and safeties, they probably have the best ones in the league. I mean, Slay is probably top 3 in the NFL, I would have to say. You could argue maybe a little higher. I mean, there's a lot of good corners in the league right now, but Darius Slay is up there, and they did great last year. They held that team together. Their defense was really what it was all about, and they got better in the offseason. Easy pick, Eagles number 4.
I'm not going to argue with the Eagles.
Respectable.
It's respectable. And who's your number 4?
I got the Chargers strictly based off potential.
Strictly based off potential. That's basically the reason I put them there, yes.
No, you just did it to make Chris mad, let's be honest here.
Well, if I'm going to do that, my number 3 overall pick are the Houston Texans. No. No.
Whoa!
Easy, Gunner.
You sure you don't want to rethink that?
Ant, you got to come
Now, hear
back.
me
We
out.
need
The
somebody to
offense
keep this
is
guy
gonna
under
do
control.
anything. God's play good.
Yes, DeAndre Hopkins, number 1 receiver in the league. Let's
That
go.
was bold. You got screamed at for that shit.
I did. And yet y'all didn't want to scream at him for picking Derek Carr as his 5th overall quarterback.
It was a hot take, but not as hot as that.
I mean, like, DeAndre Hopkins. Okay, we're getting off topic here. We're not gonna.
We're at. Let's see. I've said my 4th team.
No. We got. I need a. No, I'm at my 3rd. I'm at my 3rd.
I thought we were in the 3s now. Yeah.
My 3rd overall team are the Baltimore Ravens. Great secondary, great front 7. You can never go wrong with the Baltimore Ravens. Who did they? They didn't draft defense this year, but their previous defensive. They drafted Owe. That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
he's
that was last year.
Yeah, previous. Yeah. I think he's going to be great. They just got back Michael Pierce too, so I think he's going to be.
Yeah, they just drafted David Ojabo, I think his name is.
David Ojabo. Yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah, and then in the first round they drafted the center.
Yeah, they drafted Tyler
The
Linderbaum.
best center in the draft. That was an excellent pick.
Linderbaum.
Yeah, with the first round pick where they got for the Cardinals for Mr. Speed Racer.
Right. I don't like their defensive backs. Baltimore.
What? You don't like their defensive? Why don't you like their defensive backs?
Jimmy Smith is done. Like he hadn't been.
Yeah, but he's not their number 1 anymore.
Right, he hadn't been healthy in 5 years, and they still have Marcus Peters, right?
Yes.
Old.
And Marlon Humphrey.
Who's okay, but like they are not the. Everybody keeps expecting the Ravens defense to be like the old Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs defense, and they've been getting by on smoke and mirrors defensively for a couple of years.
Well, my argument to that is when Marlon Humphrey itself, he's a top 5 corner in the league, in my opinion. But they just, as Brandon said, they got Marcus Williams, and they drafted Kyle Hamilton.
They did. I forgot about Kyle Hamilton.
They got who is projected to be one of the best corners
Safety.
in one of the in one of the past few drafts. So
No.
I'm again based off potential. That's the
I don't
reason
know,
for
Kyle
all of our
Hamilton
shit.
did get burned by a no-name in practice, but that's just practice.
He got burned by Mark Andrews.
No, it was by some random undrafted free agent.
Okay, well,
Yeah, because I don't think Mark Andrews burns anybody. I mean,
Yeah, I was saying, I don't
he's
think-
excellent with his hands, but the feet not so much. But I don't know. Yeah, every one of these arguments is about potential and
Yeah.
staying healthy. So
Brandon, number
I'll let
3.
you have that.
The Philadelphia Eagles. Same reasons Chris is. They just added Jordan. What's his face? Jordan Phillips.
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis.
Davis.
And then they added Nakobe Dean too.
They also
So-
got Hassan Whiteside
Yeah.
too. Not Whiteside,
I
but
was gonna say, dude,
right.
nobody is getting any passes across the middle with Hassan Whiteside at Mike linebacker, dude. He is swatting everything. That's gonna be awesome.
I just got like an image of him. Nah, Hassan Reddick. But yeah, I agree with what he said. I just got him a little bit higher.
Yeah, I agree with what I said too. I want Hassan Whiteside on the Eagles too.
Yeah, no argument here. No argument here. LeBron James said he wanted to play tight end there at one point. I think Hassan Whiteside can play whatever position he wants on the football field.
And you said your number 3 was the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints, and we've already covered it. I piggybacked on someone else's conversation about the Saints earlier, talking about their run defense and their defensive backs and their aforementioned hard-nosed, no-name linebackers. So, yeah, number 3.
All right. Ant, number 3.
I got the Bills, other than the final seconds of regulation.
Other than the final seconds of regulation.
Yeah, they're not very
Surprised
good
you
at
put
that
the
point
Bills
in
up there,
time.
to be honest
But
with
other
you
than
guys.
that, they're one of the highest scoring defenses in the league. So that's why I got Bills at 3.
But Bills are actually my number 2.
Likewise.
Bills too.
Buccaneers.
I would have said that a year ago.
I still think the Buccaneers defense is gonna be good.
I just, other than like, who was the one corner they got back this year? It was Carlos. I forgot his last name.
I know the Carlton Davis.
Carlton Davis. Yeah, Carlton
No,
Davis.
I think
yeah.
their defense is still gonna be pretty good.
And Ndamukong Suh is still a free agent, correct?
Yes. So Bills number 2.
Yes.
Ant number 2.
I have the 49ers because they normally have a good defense when all of their players aren't hurt, other than their defensive backs. But
Yeah, I thought about throwing the 49ers up there just off of Nick Bosa because Nick Bosa is a dog.
and Fred Warner. Fred Warner
And
really
Fred
good.
Warner, yeah.
We just got a text that said we're not allowed to put the Rams at our number 1 overall spot.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Oh shit, I am.
I'm about to say
Me too,
Rams
I
was
got
my
the
number
Rams
1
at one.
overall.
I would say Rams is mine.
Ant, was that your number 1?
Yeah, I got the Rams at 1, other than Jalen Ramsey against the Bengals.
Oh, Jalen Ramsey,
fuck
Aaron
up.
Donald, and Bobby Wagner.
Okay.
No, I was going to have the 49ers as my number 1. If we can base everything off of potential and everybody staying healthy.
Okay. I'm surprised you didn't put the Rams in your top 5 then.
No. I think at some point their bubble is going to burst with all these older, high-priced dudes. And, yeah, it's good when you catch lightning in a bottle that one season. You sacrifice your future. But eventually...
Other than Aaron Donald and Bobby Wagner, who's the older high-priced dudes that we're talking
Jalen
about?
Ramsey.
Yeah, just
Is
those
he that
3
old
right
at this
there.
point?
No, he's probably like
27,
Yeah.
probably. He's not that old.
best corner in the league.
Ramsey has got to be in his 30s.
There's
I
no
thought-
way he's in
No
his 30s.
way.
29,
I'm
dude.
looking
There's
it up
no
right now.
Yeah,
fucking
please
way.
do, because I thought he was at least 29. It just seems like he's been around quite a while.
I mean, he's been around from... Yeah, it's
27,
27.
yeah.
27.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's not that old. I mean, like, other than Bobby Wagner and Aaron Donald, I'm trying to think of what older players are on that defense. I'm about to say Andrew Whitworth was on the offense. And
Right, he's
retired.
done. I
Yeah, they
just
had
don't...
Weddle for like a few games. Then he re-retired.
No, because now I'm genuinely curious of how old these fucking players are on the Rams. Because, no, I get what you're saying, but like,
And I didn't think. I mean, talking about their Super Bowl win, I thought they looked horrible defensively against the Bengals. And there was
Exactly.
and that one call, was it Ramsey that did the old tugging on the jersey deal, and they just completely overlooked it? I mean, that changed the early part of the game.
I thought it was T. Higgins who
Higgins,
face masked
yeah, he threw Ramsey.
Oh, yeah, that's
What are
right.
you
And Aaron
talking
Donald
about?
and Von
T.
Miller
Higgins
were
destroyed
fucking
Ramsey.
that off.
No
And they have
penalties
Leonard
at all.
Floyd.
Yeah, like I would say, like their defense, like other than like maybe because again the Bengals have like a top 3 receiving core in the league, in my opinion.
Oh, sure. I wouldn't argue that.
Yeah, I don't argue.
Maybe higher than 3.
Like,
Yeah,
I
they're 1 or 2 in my opinion.
yeah. Other than that,
Boyd.
like because their defense was fucking up that offensive line during the entire fucking game.
And now the Bengals have an O-line.
Yeah, and getting better.
Like if the Bengals had that O-line in the Super Bowl, they would have won.
Well, if it makes everyone feel better, I'll drop the Dolphins from my top 5 and then slip the Rams in there just so they're not left out.
Who's your number 1?
Oh, 49ers.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You did say that.
49ers, that's it.
The 49ers, their defense was always good. It's the offense that, like, Garoppolo.
Well, and now they won't even have Garoppolo, so the
You know what?
defense
I'll
is going to
switch-
have to shine because
I'll
you
switch
know
the
Trey Lance
Buccaneers
isn't
for
ready.
the 49ers. He's talked me into it.
Buccaneers for the 49ers.
Yeah, I'll put the 49ers in there.
So then, who was your number 5 then? Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens,
So they're out
Saints,
now, okay.
Eagles, 49ers, Rams.
Yeah, other than I'm looking at the roster right now, other than like Aaron Donald and Bobby Wagner, I can't really see anyone that's like in their 30s.
Aaron Donald's in his 30s.
Yeah, he's like 30 on the dot.
He almost retired because if they didn't want to give him more money, he was just going to retire.
Yeah. The rest
My
of
dude
these...
be choking people. Did you see that workout?
Yeah.
You see his workout with the fucking knives?
That cannot be fun for number 69. This dude's choking him.
Yeah, because Aaron Donald's workout in training camp is he chokes his teammates.
Well, that's not fair because Aaron Donald doesn't even have a neck. It's not like they can choke him back.
No,
He's just
they
got a
can't.
head.
It's just pure muscle.
He's
right
got this
there.
weird body.
But that's our top 5 defenses. Do we have anything else that we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about Mr. Speed Racer as we mentioned before, or
Which one?
which
Well,
one?
he's talking about Hollywood Brown, who...
what do you mean, which one?
Henry Ruggs.
Oh, no, we're not talking about him because he's never going to play football again. And plus, then I'll get all weepy because the dog was in the car. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. But with Hollywood, though, I still think they went too far to even pick him up. The guy had his best season last year with 1,008 yards or something and 6 touchdowns.
And 55 drops, somewhere
Oh
around
my
that
God,
number
can he
probably.
drop a football? My Lord. I mean, I'm not the biggest Lamar Jackson fan, but I didn't see him crying when Hollywood left because it broke my heart to see how many balls he left on the turf.
Lamar Jackson was upset when Hollywood left. He was active
He
on
was.
Twitter the night of the draft saying it was bullshit that they traded Hollywood to the Cardinals.
Yeah, but that was it. After that, he didn't ever say another word about it. I mean, you have to say that so you don't look like a jerk. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so heartbroken. But no, dude. He wanted somebody that could catch a football, and
I don't know about all that.
And he still doesn't
but-
have that.
well, he doesn't, but he does.
Devin Duvernay, Rashad Bateman season, baby.
And does it not just show what Hollywood Brown is all about? Because we've already talked about D-Hop possibly being the best wide receiver in the entire NFL, but not available for the first third of the season. So the pressure is going to be on Hollywood. And instead he's going 136 miles an hour in the HOV lane. It's ridiculous, dude.
And it's Arizona laws, too. So, like, basically what Arizona laws are, they're, like, a level above every other state's laws. Like, their DUI is, like, extreme DUI. Like, you're getting...
But to be
sent
clear,
prison.
this was only a speeding
This was only
ticket.
speeding,
No,
but he still
no
got
al-
sent to prison for it.
Right, but no alcohol involved.
No alcohol involved.
Okay.
He's not the other speed racer, as mentioned before.
Right, but yeah, it was extreme speeding. I think is the way it was
Extreme.
written.
That's Arizona laws.
Yeah,
right
so
there.
that's got to be a special category right there.
I'm looking at his mugshot right now. He looks like he's about to cry. So
Because he's fucked up. He's an idiot.
Well, like he's probably out on bail now, so it probably doesn't matter. He'll be fine because
He's running laps.
the Arizona Cardinals gave up a first round pick for him, so they got to rock with him.
Is it any coincidence that Kyler Murray came down with COVID the minute this whole study guide clause in his contract business came
It's like
up?
I'm sick. I need a sick day.
And what's
They were
that
like, dude,
statistic
just
you
because you're
told me?
sick doesn't mean you can't do your homework.
Who did what now?
What's that statistic you told me? When does Kyler Murray play the worst?
Double XP weekend, baby.
Oh yeah, he plays worse than Call of Duty is Double XP Weekend.
Crazy.
Like, statistically, that is actually a thing.
He plays worse when Call of Duty has double XP
When
weekend.
Call of Duty drops, he plays the worst. That's crazy.
You know, get the squad together with Ben Simmons and all that shit.
Ben Simmons, Mike Evans.
Kyler Murray was on the cover of Sports Illustrated playing video games.
Yep.
Yes, he was. That's it for today, gentlemen.
Word.
Do you have any grievances, Chris, that you want to share with us?
Oh no grievances. I've got 6 spoons, bro.
He's
6.
in a great mood today.
It went from 1 to 6.
Came up on him.
That's it for the Professionally Informed Sportscast, episode number 10. You have been professionally informed.